Today I'm going to be making a creme brulee blood orange. I think it's going to be a gelato. I guess you could call it, it could be called ice cream or gelato. Gelato just has a thicker texture. I'm going to be using eggs, 4 eggs in this, which is quite a bit. And I'm going to scramble them before I mix and freeze everything, which I know sounds gross, but I've done this before with the chocolate and it turned out really creamy and delicious. It doesn't taste like eggs at all. It's really surprising. So I'm going to be doing it with the blood oranges and a few different flavorings I'll get into. So the first step is to, I'm just going to scramble my eggs in the microwave. As far as timing goes, I'm going to start with 3 minutes. I'm just going to put like a paper towel over it. I'm going to crack these and gently mix them up with a fork, just like you would if you were making breakfast. And then I'll put them in the microwave with a paper towel over them for about 3 minutes and check. I'm going for no liquid in this, so I don't really want a hard scramble, but just like a soft scramble with no liquid. Before I put this in the microwave, I wanted to show you how the scrambled eggs, I just cracked them and scrambled them, just like normal breakfast. And you can add your sugar before or after you put it in the microwave. I tend to like to add my sugar before. You can use any kind of sugar you want. I prefer to use this monk fruit sweetener just because it saves on the calories, but feel free to use anything. I'm using 1/3 cup. That's also kind of dependent on how sweet you like your desserts, your ice cream. I like mine to be decently sweet, so I'm going to add my sugar now and then a little bit of salt. I like to add a little salt to everything. That I'm just going to eyeball just a pinch, not very much at all. I'm going to mix that up and then put it in the microwave. After about 3.5 minutes in the microwave, the eggs look good. They're nice and scrambled. There's a little bit of liquid in there. Like if I were to be eating these, I would want them cooked a little bit more, but they'll be fine for the ice cream. So now I'm ready to add it to my creamy container. This is a Creami Deluxe container. So I'm just going to dump it in there, and then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. While that was cooking in the microwave, I zested some of the blood orange. I zested about 2 of them. That's dependent upon how much of that rind flavor you want in there. Just a preference. Now I'm going to add the juice, and I forgot my knife, so I'll run and grab that. One of the reasons why I selected blood orange was because it had such a nice color, and I just took the seeds out. There were just a few seeds in here because you obviously don't want seeds in your ice cream. And now I'm going to juice it. You can juice it however you want. I'm going to use this special juicer. It's kind of cool. It opens up like this and then you just squeeze it. This is actually the first time I've used it. So I think you just put this like that and then you squeeze gently and the juice comes out. Oops. That was a little bit went out the top. I guess I pushed it a little bit too hard. But that juiced really nicely. And as you can see, it's got most of the juice out. So I'm going to do that to all of these and then add my other ingredients. That was actually really easy and kind of fun to juice that. So now I'm ready to add the rest of my ingredients. So I've zested the blood oranges, so I'm just going to add that. I'm going to just add a little bit of dimension to it so it doesn't just taste sweet. It'll have a little bit of the bitterness in there. And I already added my sugar, so I'm going to add some cottage cheese. As far as how much cottage cheese, I like to have it sort of close to the top. So I'm going to fill it so it's close to, when I say the top, I mean the line that you're supposed to fill it to for ice cream. So I'm just going to add maybe, I would guess that it's probably about a cup. Doesn't have to be exact. That's good. And then I'll just leave that spoon in there. I've already added salt, so I'm going to add a little bit of my vanilla bean paste. This is a Madagascar bourbon. You can add regular vanilla bean paste, I prefer. This one I bought because it was at Costco. It's just got a little bit of that boozy taste, which you don't always want. I think it'll be okay in this, but sometimes you just want the straight vanilla bean. I also like to add regular vanilla. This is from Costco. It's actually my favorite. It's the most economical, and you notice I'm not measuring. I'm just kind of pouring some in. I'm going to go by taste. But this vanilla is the most economical, and I think it has the best taste. That's just my preference. I'm also going to add a little bit of orange flavoring, orange extract. Now this a little goes a long way, so I'm just going to add like maybe half a capful. If I need more of that flavor, I'll add it, but I don't want to start out with too much because then it's hard to get rid of. A little bit of guar gum. That's just going to make it smooth. Just a pinch. It's probably, when I say a pinch, it's probably like 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you add too much, it gets a little bit too, the consistency is almost slippery, which is not good, but you want it to be enough so that it doesn't get icy. With eggs in this is kind of like a custard. With eggs in it, it's very unlikely that it's going to be icy, but a little bit of guar gum is always good to ensure. Okay, now I'm going to stir this up. You can stir it with a spoon, which is a little bit difficult. I prefer to use my immersion blender. So I'm just going to put this in and start it. Much easier to blend it this way. And that's going to make it all nice and smooth. You can blend it as much or as little as you want. I just want to get all of the ingredients incorporated so that I can taste it. If you don't blend it very well, you won't be able to taste it, obviously. And it will be fine in the ice cream. It mixes on its own, but I find it easier to use this. You could also just use a regular, like I have a magic bullet that sometimes I use, but then you have to dirty up another dish, so that's not always ideal. Okay. So now it's time to taste it. I'm going to use this spoon. That's good. I don't think it needs anything, but you could, at this point, you could adjust your flavoring, add salt, vanilla, sugar, whatever you wanted to make it more to your desired taste. You could also add a little bit of different spices to make the color different. This color is a little bit pink because I used blood orange. If I wanted it to be a little bit more pink, I could use maybe a tiny little bit of pomegranate. I could also use food coloring, but it's just more artificial. I kind of like to use natural things if I can. So I think I will do that. I'm going to add a little bit of some pomegranate I have left over from when they were in season last year. After tasting this, I thought it was really good, but I thought to add a little touch of something, you could also add a little bit of this caramel skinny syrup on top. I mean, it's not going to be on top, it's going to be mixed in. But I'm just adding a splash of that to give it a little more dimension. Sometimes when you have a creme brulee, well, always when you have creme brulee, the top is torched sugar and it turns to caramel. And so it kind of adds a different dimension, even if you have like a fruit flavor for the bottom. The top is kind of caramely. So I thought that might be good. So now I'm ready to taste this. Really good. That added a lot. It kind of reminds me of the crusty top. Now I'm ready to freeze this for 24 hours and see how it spins up tomorrow. This has been in my freezer for about 22 hours. I have a pretty cold freezer, so I'm going to go ahead and spin it because I don't have time tonight to wait. Here's what it looks like. It's got a nice, it's frozen solid, got a nice color due to the pomegranate that I added. If you don't have pomegranate, that's no big deal. It'll just be a little bit more of a yellowish color, pinkish yellowish, and that's totally fine. I'm going to spin this on gelato setting. It'll make it a little thicker and have less air in it. You could do it on whatever setting you choose, but I'm going to do that, do the gelato today. So I'm going to power. I'm going to do the fold and turn it to gelato and hit start. After one spin on gelato, it's definitely not ready. It's really icy and crumbly. So I'm probably going to do it 2, 3, maybe even 4 times on the gelato setting. I notice when I make ice creams with the scrambled eggs, I tend to have to do a lot of spins, which is fine. I just hit over and over, and then eventually it'll be done. So I'll do it, and then I'll tell you how many times I did it. After 2 times on gelato, it looks like this. Looks good. So I'm ready to make a scoop. The texture feels a little bit thicker than normal ice cream. Scoops up really nicely. It's got a nice color. Now for the taste. It's very creamy and rich, and I can definitely taste the blood orange. It's good. It doesn't quite taste like a creme brulee. It tastes like a custard. I guess if I wanted it to be more like a creme brulee, I would top it with caramel, or I could put maybe a sugar topping and then torch it. But I don't have a torch right now, so this will have to do. It's good. It tastes more like ice cream rather than creme brulee, but it's tasty and different.